Ivan, you've been following these protests throughout this day. What is the latest?
Well, for the first time in nearly 36 hours, Fanula, we are not smelling tear gas here in the center of Istanbul in this iconic Taksim Square, which is so symbolic now to this kind of protest movement that has erupted in the course of the last 36 hours. The riot police had fought over the past 36 hours to keep demonstrators out of this space using water cannons and tear gas and pepper spray. And the crowds were allowed in within the last 2 hours, and then they beat the police out. Take a look at the sea of people now that have occupied this central part of Turkey's largest city. It's a major transport hub. It's a commercial district. It's also the entertainment district at the heart of Istanbul. And we see numerous different flags here, some of them from leftist groups, socialist groups, the communists. We've seen a flag from the gay, lesbian, bisexual activist group, and also a lot of unaffiliated people who have moved into this square, as well as the riot police appear to have pulled back. The Turkish Prime Minister gave a speech live on Turkish television a couple hours ago, during which he called on the demonstrators to stop demonstrating. He promised to investigate the possible excessive use of force by the riot police and too much tear gas being used, he said. And he also said that this square could not be occupied, he said, by what he described as marginal groups. Now, I'm joined by Aslı Aydıntaşbaş. She is a columnist with the Turkish newspaper Milliyet. When the Turkish Prime Minister says the square is not going to be occupied by marginal groups, how do you think many Turks reacted to that speech and that statement?
Well, Ivan, I was just downstairs and observing the crowd, and I have passed through the park, the original place where the demonstration started. This is hardly a marginal crowd. Yes, there are leftist groups, but that does not mean they're terrorists or provocateurs, as the government would like to say. There's a lot of unaffiliated people as well, and I'd like to note a lot of women in the crowd as well. This is clearly not just about a park and not just about a bunch of trees. This is clearly a reaction to the way Erdogan has been governing. It's clearly a reaction to his design for an overhaul of the system, switching to more of a centralized one-man style of presidential system. And it's about a lot of things. I think it's about, it's a message. Yes, you are popular and you have the electoral mandate, but that does not mean we have no voice. This is essentially the bottom line. And of course, it's really a reaction to the disproportionate use of force by the police over the past couple of days. Non-political people and students who've never been in demonstrations, and even a grandfather of a friend of mine took part in the demonstration.